I've given myself a sneaky cheeky afternoon off work. That's the joys of being self-employed. The reason I'm doing that is because the weather looks terrible for the coming weekend, and I've got a new rear shock on my bike which I'm really keen to try. So the shock I've gone for is a Marzocchi Bomber Air, and that's to replace a Fox float which had blown all its damping out and was dead. And it was cheaper to buy this at 150 quid brand new than it was to repair the Fox float. And I've had a real struggle riding this bike, and I'm going to blame a duff rear shock for lots of incidents like this. Down into the wind. Oh! Ah! Oh! Ouch! Oh, what an idiot! I've also put some new discs and new pads on my bike because there's too much of this going on. Start squeaking again. Right, let's get into the first trail and see what this rear shock is all about. Cheers. So my old shock, or with my old shock on the bike, I had a rattle all the time. As soon as I put this shock on, the rattle's gone. I always thought it was cable routing or something like that, internal. But there's obviously something in the shock. Ooh. Right, let's see what it's like on this first jump here. Whoa. This shock's got a much stiffer compression tune in it. It always felt like the old shock was too eager to travel or to gobble up on its travel. This feels much better. Oh. Pardon me. Right, in the mister. A cheeky new line here over the stump. Hey, that was lovely. Right, I can have a quick check. And the travel indicating O-ring is in exactly the right place. That's surprising. Just on that one descent I can feel the warmth in the shock. That's interesting. Right, back to the top. Next trail. So straight out of the box, all I've done with this shock is set the sag and set the rebound, and I already feel that I don't need to do any more adjustments to it. And just after one run, which is mad. I know it's a simpler shock than the Fox float was and less adjustments, but to get it dialed that quick, it's pretty good testament to aha! Nearly went the edge there. It's the middle of March at the moment, and the trails are already summer dry and getting marbly. Oh. Carry on down. Whoa! Yeah, that's sketchy and loose. Way. Oh, that's so good to have dry trails. It wasn't a particularly wet winter this year, but it's still nice to get back to dry. Oh, that was good. Back to the top. Just for a bit of variety, I'm going to drop down the opposite side of the hill. Brambles to the knuckles. Wow! Nearly overcooked that. And again. Right. Oh. Yay. Well, it's pretty loose today. I overdid a few turns there and ran out of grip. The new rear shock has helped me fall back in love with my transition Scout. You don't realise, or I hadn't realised, how bad the rear shock had got, because I ride mainly hardtails. When I got back on this bike, I just thought it was a spongy, springy mess. Never once thought it's because the shock was dying, but now I'm loving the bike again. It's got its pep and spring back how it should do. Gonna do another trail dropping down the same side of the hill, because it gets a bit tedious going up and down the same climb so many times. It's a bit overgrown sticky, that's right. I'd completely forgotten that I had put new brake pads and discs on this bike, simply because I've got squealing noises and I've not had any today, which is such a result because it was really getting on my tits. This trail's called Mind the Stump, but there's about 4 stumps you need to mind on this trail. Wow, loose. Right. That was lovely. Going to climb back up and go back down the original side of the trail, hill rather, back down the side of the hill it started on. Open the line there. Yes. Epic. So good to have some decent weather. Right, bit of speed. Not enough up there. Messed that up a bit. Continuing on down. I've been riding cross-country tyres so much, I'm always giving it a split second to make sure there's grip before I commit to anything. With these tyres I don't really need to. Right, so right there we want to be in, there we go. Right. Not ridden this bit for a long time, so I'll carry on down here. Not many other people have been riding it either. Fallen tree branch there. There we go. That'll do. Right. I'm going to call that it for today. I've had an epic cheeky little ride. Chuffed a bit to my new rear shock. So I'm going to go home for a big plate full of fish and chips and a lovely ice cold can of cream soda. Thank you for watching. See you soon. Bye.